begin the second part of our presentation this afternoon, our event. This part is called Part 1, Remembering, and we will be looking back at past experiences from people who experienced earthquakes in the past. Our first presentation rather, is from Ms. Sandy Sanchez Montano. She is the Chief Executive Officer of Cheers Corporation and also a survivor of the 1990 Luzon earthquake. Here to represent Ms. Sandy Sanchez Montano is the Business Development Officer of Cheers, Mr. Michael Glinoga.
That day very clearly. I was a first-year nursing student when the ground shook violently. Then the ground shook again, this time bringing down the houses above us and crashing our house. I was trapped for 3 days under the rubble. No food, no water. I thought it was the end of me until sniffing dogs found me and I was rescued. Mabuhay! I am Sandra Sandy Sanchez Montano. I am the 2014 Woman Leader Awardee of the ASEAN Business Awards for the Philippines. I am a survivor of the Baguio City earthquake in 1990 that killed more than 1,600 people, and I am a proud daughter of a farmer and a seamstress mother. My parents only finished elementary levels, that is why I value education very much. The tragedy was the turning point in my life, and at a young age, I realized how important disaster preparedness is, especially in a country where disaster is a daily reality. So in 1990, I left Baguio for Manila to look for a school where I could study to become an emergency responder. I couldn't find one, so I continued with my nursing education and eventually become a nurse. But because I couldn't forget my traumatic experience, and for 10 years, I led a team that trained more than 100,000 in basic life support, I was also a Rotary International Ambassador of Goodwill to Brazil to observe how humanitarian work is being done. But I wanted to do more. I went to look for training opportunities and found myself trained once more in emergency medical services. Disaster preparedness is the answer to the various calamities that the ASEAN region is prone to. Oftentimes, God uses our greatest pain as a launching pad for us to realize our calling and purpose in life. I have found mine in helping others to be prepared during disasters. The greatest reward of helping others is to see the smiles on the faces of those you have helped. They are my greatest inspiration to go on. As an advocate for disaster preparedness, let us work together to inspire, inform, educate, and empower people to be resilient in the face of disasters.
Good afternoon po. So, I would like to thank po sa lahat ng buong buo ng USHER or Universal Structural Health Evaluation and Recording System, DPWH, and partners, stakeholders. Good afternoon po. And on behalf of Ms. Sandy Montano, our CEO, and our founder of Community Health Education Emergency Rescue Services, ayun, allow me to speak on behalf of her po. And at the time when the field of nursing was far from lucrative or glamorous, Sandra wanted it. She wanted enough that she endured being away from her family to pursue her studies further north at the St. Louis, Baguio, even a very grim event. And so, a great earthquake of 1990 buried Sandy under the rubbles for 3 whole days. And fighting to live for what seemed like endless, hours in darkness, unable to move. With precious air running out, hope slowly ebbed at the same rate as her physical strength. It was murky, eerie, macabre darkness. Nothing but darkness. But her body was recovered without a pulse, pronounced dead, and was among the cadavers which lined Burnham Park at that time. A miracle carried through a cold downpour revived her. So yung time na yun po is kulang daw ang black bag. So yung 1990. So katabi niya po is mga patay na din. And then nahawakan niya mismo is mga malalamig ng bangkay. So na-revive siya and habang umuulan. The second chance did change Sandy. She felt a calling. At first, it was not definite, but it was there and refused to be ignored. There were just so many thoughts and emotions for supremacy in her person. This, right in the middle of her post-traumatic stress disorder, which manifested through horrible nightmares. There was a persistent tiny voice, niggling, nagging. She felt there was something she had to do. And she eventually discovered this road which would take her both her path of healing and her life's calling. She found the strong spirit in volunteerism alive inside her. The Philippine Red Cross provided the vehicle for this part of her journey. But even more important that, she wanted others to succeed as well. She obtained her nursing degree and became registered nurse. While practicing, she was worked hard for her master's degree and obtained it. And together with her husband, they founded the social enterprise, which meant to help through capacity building towards community, yung resiliency. It is called po yung Community Health Education Emergency Rescue Services. There. Ito po yung logo namin. CHEERS po is acronym for Community Health Education Emergency Services. Yan. So, she finished a strategic management or marketing course in the University of the Philippines. Then, a social entrepreneurship course from Ateneo de Manila, School of Government, recognizing the need for the global involvement through the international institution. Ms. Sandy acquired an Australasian Registry Emergency Medical Technician in 2013. And then she went back to the University of the Philippines for her diploma in Food Safety Management. Right now, she is in the process of acquiring her PhD in Special Education. And through all this, she held various roles and positions, both government and in private sector. It was just rightful and the perfect time when she was nominated and awarded as the first Asian Woman Leader Awardee. This served as an additional and most current motivation which spurred her to do even more, recognizing the pressing need for livelihood and food sustainability. She acquired knowledge and partnership with experts in field of agriculture, food processing, and food production. She is both hands-on on agricultural fields and factories, as well as technology transfer. She became a very active asset as a mentor with the dynamic Go Negosyo team which visited every high-risk location in Holo, Sulu. She mobilized the synergistic potential of women in livelihood. And then the community and the government could not ignore her effort and contribution any longer. She was recently appointed as the Commissioner for Health and Science under the Philippine Commission on Women. And even before her formal outing, she had already hit the ground running and activated her vast network to gun for capacity building. Ayan, so ang cheers po is more on training for basic life support, mga first aid for disaster, and mga safety training for DOLE na requirements for every company is required po doon sa ating mandated department order na lahat po ng company is mayroong safety officer. Ayan, so thank you and good afternoon.